Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Jeffries from Hilariously Infertile, and this is Babble TV. Today, I'd like to talk to you guys about trying to conceive. I don't know about where you were raised or educated, but I was raised outside of New York City, and when I was younger, was taught all the ways of how to not get pregnant, all the ways. And I was never taught how to get pregnant. I was on birth control for a number of years, probably about a decade, prior to trying to conceive with my husband after we got married. I didn't know that there was a certain time of the month that you can get pregnant. I didn't know about ovulation. Literally, I knew nothing. So my husband and I started having unprotected sex, and I wasn't getting my period. By this point, I had Googled a little bit about your, fertility window and your ovulating window and all that stuff. And I was shocked because I didn't know anything about that. So month after month after month, we were trying to conceive. We were having unprotected sex and I wasn't getting my period. So every single month, I thought I was pregnant. About 5 or 6 months went by, and the whole time I thought I was pregnant. But I also thought I wasn't pregnant because I kept seeing negative pregnancy test results again and again and again and again and again. But I also wasn't getting my period. Now, I was taught when I was in 7th grade sex ed that when you have unprotected sex and you don't get your period, you're pregnant. Like that's what I was taught. And I just was so confused as to what was happening, what was going on in my body. I also had bought one of those expensive over-the-counter ovulation predictor kits, and the little smiley face. It was just like a circular digital smiley face would blink, and it would tell me that I was ovulating on like day 2 of my cycle when I was still on my period, when I did get it, because I got it like once or twice in a 6-month cycle, in a 6-month span. And I just remember being like, what is happening? This is not normal. Then I went to my OBGYN and I had printed it out on paper all the times that I hadn't got my period when I had in the past 6 months. This was 2011. And she looked at me and I said, is this normal? This is normal, right? This is totally normal. Because God forbid, like something is not normal. And she looks at the calendar and she goes, no, this is not normal. Like, do you know anything? And I was like, no, I don't know anything. I wasn't taught any of this stuff. So she started me on a round of Clomid and intercourse, and nothing happened. The next month, Clomid and intercourse again, and nothing happened. I remember a lot of the doctors asked me about my period and my cycle when I was back in high school, because I said I had been on birth control since I was 18 years old, and I was 28 at this time, 29. And they said, well, what was your period like when you were in high school? I don't know. Do you know? Do you remember that? I don't remember that. I was in high school. I was skinny and I was an athlete, and I played field hockey. And I don't remember ever tracking my cycle, ever. I was sexually active, for some of my junior year and my senior year of high school, but I don't remember, like it was never a thing for me. So I didn't have any answers to their questions. After the 2 months of trying with my regular OBGYN, she called me and she left me a voicemail, and she said that she believes I have PCOS and that I should go to the fertility clinic. Now, again, this was 9 years ago. So there was no, 10 years ago now, there was no, let's try this holistically. Let's look at your hormones. Let's look at what you're eating. Let's try to balance this out. What about your gut? What about this? There was none of that. It was just go straight to the fertility clinic. And I was fine with that because I wasn't really ready to make any huge life changes. Aside from the fact that I wanted to have a baby, I wasn't really ready to give up my Diet Coke, my Cheetos, right? Because come on. So I went to the fertility clinic and they confirmed that I have PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, which basically means I have a ton of eggs, right? Let's picture these are my ovaries. Okay. I also have a t-shirt where the ovaries are flipping a signal that I can't, I don't think I can do on Battle TV. But these are my ovaries, and on your ovaries, you have a lot of follicles, and in the follicles grow eggs. Once a month, the eggs grow, they mature, and one releases down the fallopian tube to then maybe be inseminated or not inseminated by a sperm and then stay in your uterus or shed out of your uterus, right? Like your period. That's how it works. I had to teach myself all that. No idea. So PCOS means that I have so many follicles that no one follicle can grow to become dominant to then go down the fallopian tube and, meet up with the sperm. So I don't ovulate. The way that I like to picture it is kind of like an overgrown garden where there's so much going on that no one thing can actually grow or thrive. And I remember when I was at my first fertility clinic appointment and I saw the picture of my ovaries on the ultrasound, and it looked to me like cookies and cream ice cream, but with a ton of Oreo, and the Oreo being the cysts, right? And I was just like, what is happening? So we decided to go forward with Clomid and IUI. IUI is intrauterine insemination. And that is where like the whole trying to conceive thing on my own really stopped, and having help with a practitioner started. Now, if you're going through this at home alone, how do you know? Like, how do you know when you should go from being at home to seeing a doctor to asking for help? How do you know? And are you doing it right? Are you not doing it right? What's happening? I would recommend, at first doing some casual Googling, and after that, going and talking to your OBGYN or your general practitioner and see what they say. Typically, the timeline that I've heard, at least in the United States or my region of the United States, is try on your own for about 6 months. If nothing happens during that time, after that period of time, then you can go and then a doctor will be more inclined to work with you because you have it tried on your own. It's not just like I went off my pill on Monday and on Tuesday I'm at the fertility clinic asking for help. They want you to try a little bit on your own. So that is trying to conceive. It's trickier than it sounds, and there's a lot going into it. I remember I would take my temperature in the morning. Temperatures all over the place. Didn't show anything. Didn't show any ovulation. Checking your mucus. Like, it was insane. I also remember trying to be like, I don't know if this is my mucus, but you're also having a lot of unprotected sex. So there's other substances going on down there. And just being like, what? Like, how am I supposed to figure this out? I don't know. It's so confusing. If you need help, go to IVF Babble, come to Hilariously Infertile, and go to maybe see your practitioner. Best of luck, and come back for another episode of Hilariously Infertile on Babble TV. Bye, guys.